There's a lot of personal responsibility that we have to take too. It's very nice that you can go to a broker or a mortgage company or something like that and say, can I get a $500,000 house and I don't make any money? And they say, oh, sure. It's a little adjustable 4 or 5 years from now. We'll even make it so that we're lending you a little money every month to help you along, negative equity type of thing. And people that don't understand what they're in for accept these things, and then going down the line a few years, they find out, whoa, the interest rate went up and I can't afford it. Now we've got this awful economic situation, people losing their jobs. Well, you have a certain responsibility to yourself. When you were a younger man, and I was younger, we had to put 20% down to buy a house. But then the house had value because you had 20% equity the minute you bought it. And of course, the houses went up and we enjoyed the appreciation. But nowadays, because you were buying it with no money, the prices of houses got crazy. It went
That's the
right
big
off
thing,
the board.
I think. That is the,
And until
that's the
this
zonker.
corrects.
I mean, the houses went up like in the last 7 years or so. I mean, you know, you had a $200,000 investment that ended up at a $600,000. I gave my mother's house away for $232,000, I remember, in Tarrytown, and now, you know, in the books, it's over $1 million.
There you go.
I said, it was a bad time. And I said, it's the same old house. It's not like anything different. How could it have gone up so much?
Well, that's a great question because it really didn't go up that much. What they simply did was they made it easier to buy everything. They just gave you money. They gave you credit cards. Did you have a credit card when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, no.
Huh. So you had to have money to spend it.
The
Nowadays,
best way to live is just with the green.
They'll give it
If you
13.
can live with the green, you'll never have problems. You just spend what you got, and only because that's all you got.
Godfather, you know everything. I mean, this is so basic. It doesn't take a genius. And the kids today, they give them these training cards. They come with a training bra or something. But they give them a credit card when they're 13.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, does that make sense? In a way it does, because this is what their generation of people is going to be about. So yes, you should teach a kid, even if it's going to be using credit, do it responsibly. But if you use credit cards, and I know people, my nieces, God, I love them to death, they make almost no money a year. They own a car they cannot afford. They've got credit cards up to here because they've got iPhones and this and every other gadget in the world. They can't afford any of this stuff, but they didn't have to put 20% down. They just had to pull out the plastic, give it to some fool, and he says, okay, here you have a $600 telephone.
Give me an Uncle Jimmyism.
An uncleism, as I like to call
Uncle-ism,
it.
that's it, okay.
All right, an uncleism. Oh, there are so many of them. They should
Okay.
be put. They're so brilliant. They should be put in fortune cookies. You know?
All right, go ahead.
But,
that sounds cool.
Let's see. One of the things I tell people all the time is, when you're making a decision about anything, divide yourself into two people. We usually like to think of ourselves as having one opinion. Fine. But nobody will argue that we are emotional creatures, and we like to think we're logical. So what I tell people to do is consider whatever it is that's on the table. I'd like to fly a plane. Well, that's a want. That's a wonderful ambition. But I'm afraid of height. That works the other way. Logically, planes will stay up. Well, there's the logic of it. So now, what will rule my life? My emotions, I want to do things, or my logic? Maybe I should stick to driving a car. That's where you go. Do I give them answers? No. What I try to do is put thoughts in people's mind, give them tools to work with. Uncleisms, by the way, you nailed it exactly right, is what I call them. Once you get the idea that you are really two people, you could say emotionally, I like that. Logically, it doesn't work. Do you have a daughter by any chance, or a teenager? Yeah. Ah, there you go. When she was 14, she was in love with some guy that wasn't worth even looking at, but she loved him. Say, that's all emotion. I approach my nieces with things like this when they were a little older. Does he have a job? Does he love his mother? Does he live at home? Does he have an education? Does he have any ambition? Or does he just look at you with lust?